Hey everyone, it's Bree from the blog Homemade on Our Homestead, and today I'm going to be sharing how to make these really adorable little embroidery hoop diffuser ornaments for Christmas. Alright, so to get started making these really cute little DIY farmhouse inspired ornaments, you're going to need some fabric. So here I just have a red and white checked fabric that I picked up at my local Hobby Lobby. I also have some off-white linen fabric and a really cute Christmas themed print fabric. So something else you could also use for this project to make these ornaments are some really cute bandanas. You could actually get about 4 ornaments from one. So if you're going to use these for diffuser ornaments, you're going to want some essential oils of your choice. Some either jute or hemp twine like I'm showing here to tie a bow on your ornaments and to hang them from on your tree. Some embroidery hoops. Now these are 3-inch hoops that I purchased at my local hardware store. They were actually on clearance, so that's why I'm using 3-inch hoops today. And some wooden beads, and you're going to put these on the tops of your ornaments for your essential oils. So start by taking whatever fabric you want to use for your first ornament, and you're going to lay that on your table or your work surface. So now this is a Christmas printed fabric. So if I fold this fabric in half, you're going to see this on the front and the back side of the ornament. So if you want to use a different fabric for the back of your ornament instead of doing the same print, you can definitely do that just by layering your fabric. So start by taking your embroidery hoop, and you're going to loosen the screw so the center of the hoop comes apart from the top part. Loosen the screw all the way so it's easy to get over the top of your fabric. So because this is a directional print, and if you're choosing to use a directional print for your ornaments, you're just going to want to make sure that the fabric is facing the right direction when you put it on your hoops. It'd be such a shame to get your ornaments together and then you realize that your fabric is upside down. Of course, this is a super easy fix. You would just take it apart and have to move the fabric around, but it's just easier to do it the first time. So for this particular ornament that I'm working on now, I'm going to be using this printed fabric on the front. And then for the back side, I'm actually going to just use this off-white linen fabric. So these are just some scraps of fabric that I had left over from some projects last year. So I just pulled those out of my scrap bin, and that's what I'm going to use today. So the great thing about this project is from year to year, if you change your colors for your tree or you change your
So just make sure that when you're putting your embroidery hoop behind your layers of fabric that you're leaving enough room all the way around to be able to place the top hoop over the internal hoop and you still have some fabric out the back. It's better to have a little excess that's going to be trimmed off anyway than to not have enough and then you're going to have to reposition your hoops. So once you have it in place, you're going to carefully slide the top hoop over the internal hoop and over your fabric. You are going to notice it's a little bit tight, which is how it's supposed to fit. And once it looks the way you want it to and everything looks like it's in place and there's no wrinkles in your fabric, you can go ahead and start to slowly tighten the screw. So one thing I have learned with experience with these little tiny wooden hoops is that you can over tighten them and the hoop will actually crack. So just make sure that you're not over tightening your hoops. You can always tighten them up more, but you'd really not want to get this all put together and then have it crack. So just take your time when you're screwing these together. You're going to want to leave a little bit of a gap here so you have a spot to thread your jute twine or your hemp twine through to be able to hang it from your tree. So if you flip it over on the back here, you can see that the fabric is pulled nice and tight and there's enough room all the way around the hoop to be able to cut your fabric evenly all the way around. So now grab a pair of scissors and carefully just trim away the excess fabric from the entire perimeter of your hoop. So I like to just trim this pretty quickly around the first time,
And then I go around a second time with the same pair of scissors, and then I trim it closer the second time around. The first time I'm trimming, I really just like to remove the bulk of the fabric so I'm not having to work with it in my way. And then once that's kind of removed, then I go back and I clean up all the edges with my scissors. So this would be a really great project to use a pair of pinking shears as well if you want some of the fabric to kind of overhang from the back up towards the front. The pinking shears will leave a nice little decorative edge and also keep your fabric from fraying. So here's what it looks like from the front. And now let's take a piece of jute twine to attach a little hanger. So I cut my pieces of twine 12 inches in length because I always opt to do a little bit longer than shorter pieces. I can always tie it and then go back and shorten it afterwards instead of having to cut more pieces. So I just folded the piece of twine in half and I put the two loose ends through the top first, and then I'm going to loop those back through the loop of jute twine in the front. So once your twine is looped back through, you're going to go ahead and just give it a little tug to secure it to your frame. Now you can add your wooden beads. Now for most of mine that I made this year, I think I did 2 beads. You could definitely just do 1. You could do 3. You could use different size beads if you want, or mix up the size that you use like I did here, where I used a larger bead on the bottom and a smaller one on the top. It's really up to you. This is a great project to involve the kids. My kids really enjoyed stringing the beads on my ornaments this year. For the next step, I did add a bow, but you could definitely leave that off or use a piece of decorative ribbon or a cinnamon stick or something else to tie on the top to add a little bit more decorative flair. And again, I'm just using that little metal loop on the top of my embroidery hoop to fasten a little bow from the jute twine. So here's an example of one of the completed ornaments that I've made. This probably takes, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes to make one ornament. So it's a really quick little project. So once you've finished your ornaments, you can go ahead and choose some of your favorite essential oils and add 1 or 2 drops to the little wooden beads on the top. So I refresh my essential oils on my ornaments every 3 to 5 days or so. You can do it more if you want or less, but these would make a great little handmade gift for somebody that you love or some friends for the holidays. And you could also put this together with a couple bottles of your favorite essential oils and gift it that way as well. So another really fun option for personalizing these ornaments would be to take a shirt or maybe a onesie from a baby that they can no longer fit, and you can use that for material for these ornaments. I know for this year I have taken one of my husband's old shirts that he really loved, and instead of donating it to the thrift store, I made ornaments with it, and I embroidered the year on the ornament, and they're going to be my kids' keepsakes for this year. So check the description box down below the video and I'll have a link for everything that I use to make these really cute little ornaments, as well as a list of some of my favorite essential oils that I like to use on my diffusers and my diffuser ornaments this time of year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this simple tutorial today for how to make these little Christmas ornaments, and I'll see you guys for my next video. Bye!